Hey guys, so today I'm going to teach you how to make a turban that's a knit turban headband. Okay, so those are really easy to make. It's a really small piece of fabric. Even if you're a beginner, I'm going to teach you how to knit, and it's a really small piece of fabric. It's really easy, and the ones I find in store, I find they're a bit too tight. There's not the selection I want, or it's like too expensive and stuff. So I'm going to teach you how to make the really popular thing right now that's going on, and it's really easy, and you can make it however you want. So let's get started. Here it is. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to start with the basics for beginners. So the type of needles you're going to want for this project are these really thick ones. You want these because your knit project would have bigger spacing, and it would be stretchier, and it just take less time to actually knit the whole thing. So there's like different types of yarn. Obviously you don't want to use this type for your knitted headband, or else it would be a feather headband. Unless you want that effect, then you can use this. For beginners, you wouldn't want to try to use this type of yarn anyways. And there's this like itchy sort of fabric, but it might be itchy once you wear it, so you might not want to make it out of that. And there's this really soft kind of yarn, and I would recommend you to use this to make it because it's soft and it's just easy to work with. Okay, so I'm going to be using this yarn because it's thick, and you want thick yarn because if you use thick needles, it's going to make big holes, and you're going to have thin string with big holes, which is really weird. So we're going to use the thick yarn, and first of all, I'm going to teach you beginners how to put the string onto the needle. So if you already know how to do this, you can skip this part. So first of all, you're just going to make a slip knot like this. So you can rewind that to see how that was made. And the thing about slip knots is if you pull like this, it'll come out. So make a slip knot and put it on here. I try to make the tail not as long right here, but I'll show you a way to get rid of it later. And then the easy way that I always do to put on rows is I go like this. So I take it, I twist it this way, I go under here, and that's it. And I've made a loop. So I'll do that a few more times. And I'm going to make 6 to begin with. So that's what it looks like. Okay, now I'm going to teach you how to knit the most basic way of knitting. So first, I'm going to say this is the still needle and this is the mobile needle, so it can move, okay? The moving needle and the still needle. So you put the moving needle in. This is the only one that moves, okay? You wrap the yarn around the moving needle. You take the moving needle and you take out the little piece of yarn that you inserted. And then you take the already on loop of yarn off the still needle. So I'll do that again. So you put this needle in, you wrap it around the needle you inserted, you take out the yarn you just put in, and then you take it off the needle it was previously on. So basically you're kind of like tying loops kind of around each row, if that makes sense. So you put it in, you take it out, and you slip it off. Put it in, wrap it, take it out, slip it off. In. You put it in underneath. You wrap it. It should go very easily and very smooth, and you shouldn't have any problem doing any of these steps. So if it's hard, then you probably did it wrong. So then you already did this row, and then you're just going to flip it on the other side and start knitting with this needle. To make sure that the flyaways disappear, I'm just going to incorporate this into the yarn. So just do it the same way. And make sure the amount of loops on a row stays the same. So there's 6. Make sure that number does not change. Knit until this thing wraps around your head nice and perfectly, and then I'm just going to show you how to cast it off. So when you get to the 2 stitches that you incorporated in, just knit like you normally did. Just take both of them, and because it's all part of the same loop, so then you end up with 6 again. So if you count, you still have 6, so make sure that number stays the same, and then you're just going to knit it all. Okay, so now I have knitted it about this much, which is perfect. It's still a bit tight around my head, but that's the effect you kind of want. You don't want it to be loose, or else it probably won't stay on. So at this length, you want to now just seal it off, and how you're going to do that is, you're going to knit normally, just 2 loops. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take the back loop and put it over and just take out the first one. So you're going to do that for every single one. Just do 1 loop now, loop it over, 1 loop, loop it over, 1 loop, loop it over. And the last one, you just want to take this just normally and then take it out a bit. Then you're going to get a pair of scissors and just cut. For this one, I'm going to cut a long tail. Okay, and then you're just going to put it in here to seal it. So for this project, for the headband, you're going to leave a long tail and then take one of those thick sewing needles. You're just going to take the needle and then pull it through some of the yarn and just pinch it together and start sewing. And don't worry if you can see the stitches, because we're going to cover this part with the band afterwards, and it's going to get flipped around anyways. Okay, so there we go, and then now you're just gonna tie it, knot, and finish it off. And there we go. And then now you're basically done the band part. And then now you're gonna knit a piece here and pinch it in. Okay, so for the piece that goes in the middle to pinch the turban headband is gonna have to be 4 loops long. So I'm just gonna sew enough so that it's like the same length as this, so that when you pinch it, it'll go down, and don't make it too large. Okay, so I've knit a little square that's more like a rectangle, that's about the width of this thing, and then now basically you can just do that, and then it'll be like those headbands you buy. So just sew it along here now using the extra yarn. Cut it. And you are done. So this is what it looks like in the end. And you can wear it. I hope you guys had fun making this. I sure had fun. It was really easy. It just took me like half an hour maybe to knit all of this, but if you're a fast knitter, you can probably spend this time. Thanks for watching. Bye!